Alright, hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Michael Owen of Michael Owen Photography, and today I'm going to be doing a quick review of two powerhouse cameras within the photography world, the Contax 645 and the Hasselblad H1. I had the opportunity to spend the week with both cameras and put them through very similar situations, so I can pretty much compare them side by side and give you an honest end of the day review of both. So both cameras were lent to me. These are not mine. I had to borrow them because I'm thinking about getting my own camera, and I really wanted to compare them side by side. This one is from Contax Rentals. Obviously this is not a Contax. They have the H1 for rent as well as the Contax, so if you want to do your own review, go to them, rent your cameras, try them out. And then this one was lent to me by my good friend Carl of Luminaire Photo. Very trusting dude. Thank you, Carl, for letting me borrow it. So anyway, let me get into the review aspect of this. This isn't going to be overly technical. This is going to be a what camera I would prefer to have in my bag at the end of the day. So let me start out with the Hasselblad. Great camera, amazing camera, loved it, loved working with it. Some of the best features: it's light, it's made of a nice composite plastic, still got a good weight to it, but it's lighter than the Contax. The glass itself, Hasselblad has always been known for their amazing glass. f2.8 80mm lens, all metal, feels good, it's got some good weight to it. The lightning fast autofocus on this camera is just outstanding. One of the best key features in my opinion. If you're shooting a wedding, if you're looking to use it for portrait sessions, engagement sessions, whatever, hands down, this guy wins as far as autofocus goes. It was fast, it was sharp, and it was accurate every single time. Didn't have any hiccups whatsoever. Another great feature are the dials. You got your f-stop dial, your shutter speed dial. If you're an SLR user looking to switch into film, medium format film, that is a great feature to have because most of us are used to dialing in at this point. Just like that, you're able to keep your eye on your scene, see what's going on through your prism finder here, and keep shooting. Great feature, awesome. The other thing is, this company still exists. If something goes wrong, you can send it in and get it fixed. Parts are relatively cheap. Accessories, same thing, relatively cheap. Glass is going to be pretty comparable to the 645 as far as cost goes. So not a big plus there, but as far as getting the bodies right now are cheaper than the Contax, not by a lot, but they are cheaper. So that's kind of a quick review of the Hasselblad. Let me get into the Contax 645 real quick. Same focal length, 80mm, but this one has an f2.0 aperture focus, which produces some stunning images for weddings and portraits. That is one of the biggest reasons this camera sells like hotcakes on the internet right now, is because of that Carl Zeiss glass with the f2 aperture. Another thing that I really appreciated was the shutter speed. This goes up to 1/4000th of a stop, whereas the Hasselblad is a 1/800th. So you're able to shoot with this in a lot more situations than you would the Hasselblad. The Hasselblad, you're going to have to get an ISO film to compensate for that slower shutter speed, whereas this one you can use just about any ISO film at any lighting condition and you can still maintain that f2 aperture. So that was a great feature. The other one that I really liked and appreciated was the ease of the exposure compensation. You have a nice dial right here, goes up to ±2 on the compensation. A great feature in my opinion. The other one that I really liked was the hand grip. On my 5D Mark III, I have always had a hand grip. I love hand grips. I think that they're awesome. I love to be able to hold it like this with my elbows down instead of up here where your arm is in somebody's face or something. You can keep it nice and tight and still maintain that vertical composition. One of the things that I noticed was this camera is really heavy. At the end of the day, at the end of the wedding, it was heavy to hold. My arm was starting to get tired shoulders were getting a little bit weighed down. I definitely knew that I'd been using this camera all day. That was one of the things I really appreciated about the Hasselblad over the Contax, was just how light it was. It was easy to use, didn't really get tired out as much as I did with the Contax. I mean, like I said, it's still heavy, but not as heavy as this guy. I like to kind of think of this camera as the Swiss timepiece of cameras, because it's going to work if you maintain it, if you take care of it, if you treat it like your firstborn child. It will just always work. It's analog. It has dials. It's not digital, so you're not going to worry about things going wrong with internal computers, any of that. It's going to function. It's going to work if you take care of it. The company doesn't exist anymore, so if something goes wrong, you're going to have to find a specialist to fix it for you. Parts are becoming expensive. Parts are becoming limited because everybody's buying them up to either use them as parts or just to have 2 or 3 on hand in case one breaks and is beyond repair. So as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to maintain this camera. Again, like I said, unless you treat it like your firstborn child, which you're going to have to do. You're not going to want to beat this thing up and treat it like your average modern day SLR, which is more of a tool anymore than something like this. You're going to have to be very careful and very particular with this camera just because of its limited availability. Again, one of the things I really liked was the Prism Finder viewfinder and light meter. I thought it was a little bit better than the Hasselblad light meter. It was a little bit easier to see, and I think that as far as image quality goes, I think it was a little bit more accurate. So I think those are some of the key things that I really appreciated about this versus this. Also, the Contax was a little bit faster to load, mainly because I had a few extra backs with the Contax that I could just preload and throw in there, give the other one to someone else to load it. It was a little bit easier to load as well. It had some nice sprockets that you could just wind. It just seemed a little bit easier to load in my opinion. So at the end of the day, I think I would prefer the Hasselblad. Just because it's lighter, it has that fast, accurate autofocus, which I really appreciate. And it's just, I don't know, I love the fact that the company still exists and you can send it in and fix it. So anyway, that is my very quick, very brief, non-technical review of these two magnificent cameras. Like I said, go to contaxrental.com, rent them both for yourself, try them out. And thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and keep shooting.